64.4% of players destroyed Badger's skull. 24.9% of players let Badger turn. 5.1% of players let someone else kill Badger. Okay, so I don't understand why Jesus is so angry at me. It seems like of all of the things I could have done, that was the most humane thing. I didn't let him turn. I didn't let someone else kill him. Because who knows if that someone else was going to, you know, not kill him quickly. I killed him quickly, you know? I think of all of the possible choices, that really was the most humane thing I could have done to him. So I don't know why Jesus is so upset at me, especially considering how, you know, if somebody is trying to kill you, you have the right to do whatever it takes to defend yourself. That's what self-defense means. And yes, I think that it would be humane for you to try to incapacitate the person in such a way that it wasn't fatal. But at that point, if they're trying to kill you, you know, it's perfectly okay for it to be fatal if that's the only thing that you can do to prevent them from killing you. That's what self-defense is. So I really, really don't understand. That's what really confuses me, because Jesus has killed people. I'm pretty sure Jesus has killed people himself for the exact same reason, self-defense, or to prevent bad people from hurting other bad people. These are people who are clearly hurting us, innocent people. I use the term innocent loosely, and it was self-defense. So I don't know, that whole thing with Jesus was weird. I don't know why he was lecturing me, especially when you look at the results. I think what I did was pretty darn as humane as it could possibly be. Did you accept Max's offer? You and 59.9% of players brought Max back with you. But I thought David shot him. This is, I think this is bugged. David definitely shot Max. I mean, granted, I didn't pick because I didn't want to pick. This is David's call. I was like, this makes sense for David to make the call. Like, Max is his henchman or whatever you want to call it. He should be the one to decide whether to execute him or not. He knows Max better than I do on whether or not, so maybe he has more insight on whether Max is lying. Then again, we know how accurate David's judge of character is, so I think that's bugged. Who did you side with in the end? You and 57.5% of players stuck with David's plans. David is really aggravating, but not to the point that I would. At this point, I don't think Javier feels that David is dangerous, but I don't think he's dangerous to the point that I need to betray him and backstab him and leave him for dead. I think that Javier still is trying really hard to love his brother unconditionally. As long as it doesn't hurt Kate and Gabe. That's just my thought. Okay. It really bugs me that Kate would just admit the truth to David and still won't, and constantly clings to Javi. Yeah, that does kind of bother me too. She's scared. He would kill her for that. She's in a vulnerable position. That is true. Well, I think there might have been implied abuse in the relationship. She wouldn't exactly be, I don't want to be in this marriage anymore. Yeah, I definitely think there's been abuse in the relationship. That doesn't mean that my Javier is moving in on Kate. That's the other thing. I get it. Their marriage was falling apart. That doesn't mean that Javier supporting Kate should imply that there's something else going on there. That's what really bothers me about how that's forced in this game, personally. I think there might be been implied abuse. I bet Clementine dies. I mean, I'm not gonna be surprised by the end of this if that's what happens. And the Academy Award for Best Actor goes to Lonnie. Oh my gosh, Lana, you drama queen. Oh, arrived in time for it to end. Well, there's still a Q&A. Yeah, had fun with the group. I hope you had a good time with your group, Sylphwind. See you in origami. Jesus is unfair on that one. He prefers you to let him turn. He prefers you to let him turn? So that what? So that he can bite somebody else? That'll do two things. I mean, yeah, like I don't know. That seems so out of character for Jesus. The way that I know Jesus, he would not let someone turn like that. He would stab him in the head or do something. I didn't have a knife at the moment. I had a bat, and I'm a baseball player, so I'm a little bit more effective with a bat. So I hit him in the head once, and that was it. Jesus was definitely very unfair, and in my opinion, very out of character. So that is one major critique I have on the writing in that part. Take care, Nora. I think the game acts as if you kept bashing his skull if you pick the kill option, even though you stopped after Trip said enough. Glitch choice. Are you going to react to the alternate choices? There's a few two videos. I'm not sure if they're still up. I think that this might have been one of the most interesting episodes of the more recent Walking Dead, taking this whole conversation out of context. I don't think I need to react to any of the alternate choices. I think I'm cool just doing, at least not on camera. I think I'm cool just for right now. But I just want to ask how you guys thought about this episode. And this is the time if you guys have any questions that you want to ask me. This is the Q&A portion where I can answer everything and anything that you ever wanted to ask me. And I will try to answer it as best as I can. My thoughts on this episode. I enjoyed it a lot. It frustrated me, but it frustrated me in a good way. Like, I was frustrated with what happened with Clementine and AJ. At the time, I was very upset, and I was trying really hard to understand the other group, like their shoes, trying to understand them. I get it. I get logically, I get it that they felt that I was wasting it on the baby and that medicine could have been used for somebody else. But again, my argument is, why is AJ's life less valuable than another person's life? I mean, if there's a chance to save this child, I mean, he's my family. So I would have a hard time blaming Clementine. If it was me in that group, rules or no, I would have a very hard time blaming Clementine for trying to save her own family, who happens to be a baby. Personally, I would not blame her, because I'd be thinking I'd do the exact same thing for any of my loved ones. I mean, not even just a baby, like even older. So, and then I think that's the thing. And yeah, it could have saved someone else, but AJ needs saving now. Like, he's sick now. Right now, there isn't anyone around. I mean, tomorrow, the entire place could be like attacked by some other group of bandits or whatever. And in which case, that medicine would have ended up going to waste anyway. Like, I don't know. It was really hard for me to see the other side of the argument, because I get the argument. I just think that it's not as weighted. The weight difference is not equal, in my opinion. But the backstory was great, because then you got to see what happened to AJ. Who knows if AJ is still alive? I mean, as with any story like this, whether it's a movie or a TV show or a video game, if you don't see them die on screen, then there's still a chance that they're still alive. There's a very good chance they're still alive. I don't see what David would have to gain I don't see what David really would have to gain to lie to Clementine. She seemed ready and okay, and pretty much it seemed like Clementine had come to terms with AJ dying. So if AJ actually died, why would David, if Clementine has already come to terms with the fact that AJ died, why would David turn around and lie to her and not let her make her believe that he's still alive? Because all he has to say is he didn't suffer. he didn't suffer, and then that would have been the end of it. Why tack on a lie that he's still alive? I mean, maybe you could say to give her more hope, but that's just gonna complicate things. I mean, lying to her, you know she's gonna want to go after him. Like that's just unnecessarily complicates the situation if he actually was dead and then he lies to her and say no, he's actually alive, instead of just saying no, he did die but he didn't suffer, and then letting it be. Like why would he overcomplicate that issue more than it has to be? It wouldn't make any sense for him to lie. So if he was lying, writers, that doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make logical sense. I don't know. So yeah, there were two major things there. There was a lot. There are a lot of interesting things about second guessing, like who's telling the truth, who's not telling the truth. Is Joan the traitor? Is David the traitor? Near the end there, like I think they were trying to make it seem like David was actually the one pulling the strings the entire time, but I don't know. Like just the sequence of events at this moment, it doesn't make sense for David to be the one behind all of this. It doesn't. The way that Max was acting and talking, like if it was, why would the way that David and Max were interacting with each other, if David was the one who told Max to loot everybody, why was Max saying the things he was saying and acting the way he said it? That doesn't make any sense. So that's why I'm not convinced that David could be the one, who was actually behind everything. It makes more sense for it to be Joan. And if it turns out that I'm wrong and David actually was the one who was pulling the strings all the time, again, writers, that doesn't make sense the way that the characters were talking and acting and behaving. So who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it all pans out. But I like the episode. I like the episode. How do I rank it based on episodes 1 and 2? They're about the same. I can't. So far, none of the episodes have really stood out as super memorable to me. They were good. They were fun. I enjoyed playing them, but none of them has stood out. So, yeah, I mean, the episodes are fine. How does this one like compare to season 2 and 3? So far, I'm liking this more than 2. I'm liking season 3 more than season 2, but I still like season 1 more than both season 2 and season 3. And I might still like season 1 more than season 2 and season 3 combined, maybe. But anyway, just want to know your thoughts. How was your April Fool's, Hark? My brother came home in a tow truck or something. Hopefully he didn't lose too much money for that. Came home in a tow truck. Must have been the worst April 1st for him. Whoa. Hopefully, what kind of an April Fool's joke is that? That doesn't sound like a very good April Fool's joke. It's okay, everyone talks to themselves. My April Fool's Day was actually a lot of fun. I didn't do anything specifically for April Fool's Day yesterday because yesterday I actually was at a good friend's bachelor party. We went to one of those ropes courses. Super cool, where you climb around everywhere and through the treetops, and then you zip line your way across the forest. It's super fun. I highly recommend it if you guys if you guys ever thought about doing it. It's very safe. I mean, there are kids are doing it from ages like 5, so they do a pretty good job, at least at the one I went to. It's virtually impossible for you to injure yourself, or at least to the point that you're not gonna. They do a very good job of making sure that there are precautions set that you can't fall. But it's super fun, and this is a good friend of mine who I met through. We were in the video game symphony orchestra at my college. Yes, that's right. We are an orchestra made by the students, and it's been around for several years. And we play video game music, orchestrated video game music, which is super fun. But we became really good friends, and he actually asked me to officiate his wedding, which is exciting, and that's coming up. So I'm really excited about that. So thank you for asking me what I was doing for April Fool's Day. Are you going to react to the alternate gentleman? I think that might have been one of the most interesting episode of the more recent Walking Dead. I really think that bringing Max back would have changed things a lot. I'm in the 16% that didn't inject AJ. I wonder if he'll be alive for me or not. I didn't want Clem to love the kid, but I couldn't steer her away from it. It's kind of hard not to end up growing attached or a child, um, loving a child, uh, especially since, that child depends on you. It's really hard, I think. It's sort of like, those people who weren't really trying to have kids and all of a sudden they have a child, or weren't really planning on having kids, but then they ended up having kids. And then the parents are like, I wasn't planning for this person, but now that this person's in the world, is in my life, it's like I can't help but love this child. So I don't know. I think it's believable. It's very believable. Um, let's see. I liked it. Some choices. Well, Telltale said the wait for episode 4 and 5 won't be as long as the wait for episode 3. Jobs said they are finishing up episode 4 and are anticipating a release this month. So we might get at episode 4. Hopefully, I'll be able to get through episodes 1 through 3 before episode 4 releases and just redo. Although it's so far, it seems like all of the choices that I made stuck for some reason. It seems like that. Did any of you guys see anything on there that implied that something was out of place based on the choices that I made before? Did any one of them seem like they were not the choices that I made? I really like Clem's bat scene and the AJ flashback. What if the choice to save the baby makes it that we can't save Kate because there is no medicine? That's a good plot screen. I mean, if that's the case, then I mean, Kate wasn't sick back then. AJ was sick back then. AJ needed. I mean, let me put it this way: if you had somebody, if you had medicine and somebody came in and was sick and really, really needed that medicine, would you say to that person, "No, like we would love to give you this medicine to save your life, but we need to save this for another person. We need to save this for the next person who's sick." Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, right? I don't think it makes any sense. I get it. I get it. That situation is different because in that situation, the argument is that that medicine would work on maybe an older person. It would be more likely to be successful to work on that person versus the baby. Then again, though, this is coming from a doctor who gets really, really high. I don't know. I question the credentials of a doctor who spends time getting himself high. I question that. So just the mere fact that it came from that specific doctor, I find the things that he says suspect. I find the medical claims that he's giving. I'm sorry, but I'm taking that with a grain of salt. I can't really fully take a doctor seriously when he says like that, and when a doctor says things like that and they're high, I'm gonna go more with my gut than anything else. So, I mean, if that ends up costing Kate's life, I, there's no way for Clementine to make that prediction. That it would happen to be happen to be Kate would be the one who would suffer because she ended up injecting AJ with medicine. I mean, if I were Kate, if I were Kate and, I were to choose myself versus a baby, I would choose the baby. I would rather die and let AJ have the medicine. And, if there was a chance for AJ to live, if there was a tiny chance for a baby to live, I'd like to believe that I'd be willing to give up my life for that. I'd like to be able to believe that, personally. Then again, I haven't been put in that situation, so what do I know? But that's just my thought. I'd like to, but some choices I thought were unfair. I agree. Well, Telltale said there's only one Clementine scene. It would have been nice to see more Clementine. The doctor seems selfish to me, like he just wanted the drug for himself and he was making excuses. See, that's another very good point if I fall into fantasy. So you think AJ is dead, Hark? No, I think AJ is alive. I think AJ is alive because I don't think it would make any sense for David to lie to Clementine and have her believe that he's still alive. That would just complicate things too much for him and for a whole bunch of other people for her to believe that he's still alive. Why would he overcomplicate things for himself if he was actually dead? Um, do you think that Javi will survive the 5 episodes? I have no idea. I mean, I'd like to believe. I mean, I'm going to say yes because I want him to, but I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if he was dead by the end of the season. I like Javi a lot. I like him a ton. But with Walking Dead, you never know. So yeah, take that what you will. Well, did you hear Max say Joan's name before they even got snuck up on, so they didn't know they were being eavesdropped on? Oh. Okay, so that gave them away. That gave them away. You should see the end sequence of Max with You. It makes more sense then. I'll probably take a look at that after the live stream. The last scene was kind of confusing, mixed messages. Where did you get your catchphrase from "love yourself and love each other"? Okay. So it's actually funny where I got that from, because I did want to come up with something that I wanted to come up with something that I would say at the end of my episodes that I thought that I believed in and that I would want to encourage other people to have in their minds, and something for me to say constantly as a reminder for myself to strive towards that ideal, to strive towards loving yourselves and loving each other. So I was trying to come up with a good quote for that. And believe it or not, a lot of you a lot of you might laugh at this, but believe it or not, I got it from Jerry Springer. I don't really watch Jerry Springer. It's not my kind of show, but it's been in the background. Like, I don't remember like what show I was watching before, but I'd watch a TV show that Jerry Springer would come after the fact and just be too lazy to turn the TV off. So I just leave the TV on and Jerry Springer would be on, and I would catch like an episode or two, but not really listening to anything, just half listening to it. And at the end of every show, even though I'm not really a fan of the type of stuff that goes on in the Jerry Springer show, and if you like Jerry Springer, that's awesome. Like, more power to you if Jerry Springer is your jam. I wasn't really that big of a fan, but it was just there as background noise. But one thing I did love about the show is Jerry Springer always ended his episodes with, until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. He said, take care of yourselves and each other. And so I thought, I really like that. I really like that quote a lot. But I didn't want to just steal Jerry Springer's quote. So I decided to have the same idea, but change it in a way so that I wasn't just completely lifting it from him. And so I came up with, well, what if I said love yourselves and love each other? Because it pretty much says the same thing, but it's different from what he was saying. And I don't know, I just like the message personally. And I think it's a good thing to encourage other people to do, but again, it's also a good thing by me saying it over and over and over again. I also remind myself to strive for that as well. Because even I'm only human. I slip on that as well. So I keep saying it to remind myself so that I can do better next time with that. Season 1 is the best. I agree with that too. It is a very good introduction to the series. I'd love to see you do a Let's Talk, Let's Hang with Tiptoe Happiness to hear your fan over BioWare stuff. Also, there's some Seduce Me holiday special episodes and such. I think a batch episode you could do all the boys' routes within one video. Oh yeah, I would love to get back into Seduce Me. Right now, my plate is packed, as you can see, because I'm still going through Mass Effect Andromeda. I haven't finished my Let's Play of Mass Effect 2 and 3 yet. So I'd like to get those out of the way too. And I'm still have to wrap up Final Fantasy 15. Thank goodness I just finished my voice acted Let's Play of Earthbound today and just finally released the final episode after 4.5 years. It's finally done. So I'm gonna try to wrap those things up before I start looking at other games like Seduce Me. Tiptoe Happiness, I'm actually not familiar with Tiptoe Happiness Compete, so I'm gonna have to look Tiptoe Happiness up and take a look at the videos. Maybe I'll end up being a fan myself, and if so, I'd love to do a collab. Clem loving AJ makes perfect sense. I just didn't want her to. I knew it would hurt her and make it harder for her to survive. Totally understand, Clementine. Totally understand. You gotta. It's sort of. My mom's a nurse, so I get it. Like, as a nurse, she tries to be very. She tries to be really warm, welcoming to people. She likes to have a very good bedside manner. But at the same time, as a nurse, to help you psychologically, this is why I didn't want to go into medicine. Because psychologically, you also have to protect yourself. You need to provide some distance to yourself, especially if the patient is in critical condition. Because if that patient dies, if this is like your day-to-day at work, you gotta, for your own mental health, you gotta protect yourself. So I get it, totally, Clementine. I'd love to see how David would have reacted to see Javi hurt, sick. Would have been interesting. Yeah, I totally agree with that too. Why is Jesus not like himself, not like his comics? Why Jesus is not like himself, not like... I don't know why he's not like he is in his comics. He's supposed to be based off of the comics, but right now, that little scene with him was really weird, really wonky. One of my complaints about this episode is that hardly anything changed due to prior choices. If you captured Clem and dragged her into Richmond, Clem doesn't even change a line of dialogue. She acts the same. Some lazy writing there. I would have to agree with you. Maybe in a way, it's good that that happened on the day that my save ended up wiping out, because then maybe this episode ended up not really changing at all, even with the auto random choice generator when I started this episode. Really, okay, then that kind of takes out the story element out of it. I imagine Jesus sounded like Garrus. He's bad A enough. He wants me to tie him up even more, that voice, though. I think they didn't want to give AJ the medicine because they figured he was going to die anyway, and it would have been considered a waste. Like giving the last of your medicine to someone who's bitten. Yeah, but that... Yes, again, I get it. Totally get it. But I would not have been as mad as they got mad. She broke the rules. Yes, she broke the rules. But it's all in the why. Why did she break the rules? Like, what was... Rules are in place for a good reason. They're in place for a good reason until it's not a good reason. I'm a very law-abiding citizen. I'm very pro law and order. In fact, my husband thinks I'm way more law and order, to a little bit too law and order for his opinion. I'm not a rebel by any stretch of the imagination. However, I do believe that laws are in place for good reason until they're not a good reason. It's not a good reason. And this is the case where that good reason is very fuzzy. It's very gray. It's very black and white. You can argue it one direction or another. And because it's fuzzy or gray, I would not have reacted as extreme as that group of people reacted. Again, totally my opinion and reaction to that situation. You, of course, can definitely argue the other direction, and I would also agree with you, because I can see that side as well. How long do you think Walking Dead Telltale would last? 2 more seasons? I don't know. It really depends on how well received this season is, if people seem to still be enjoying the game, and if it's still doing well, then Telltale will probably keep making them. If the interest in this season seems to waver a little bit, then Telltale might be better off to just focus on some of their other newer IPs, like for example Guardians of the Galaxy, like they did with Batman. I'm still waiting for them to do a Doctor Who game. Telltale, you would make an awesome Doctor Who. Jerry Springer wasn't expecting to hear that. I know, right? I know, but look at his... But yeah, look at the end of any of Jerry Springer's episodes. That's what he says. Take care of yourselves and each other. He gives a really good message, which for me seems very odd considering the type of content that show has, because that content can have some really extreme things on it. But at the end, he ends it with love yourself. He ends it with take care of yourselves and each other. So yeah, it was surprising to me too. It was surprising to me too. Slow claps. Inspiration is where you find it. I know. I haven't seen much of it, but I heard he was actually a politician at some point. He was. He was actually. By the way, how are you and your husband doing? You wanted to adopt a kid, right? Yes. 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 So, thank you for asking, because there actually is a little bit of an update to that. So, as you probably have known, my husband and I were struggling with having kids. It's been very difficult for us. It's been very difficult for us financially. And there has been some things that we have been fighting. I don't want to get too much into it, but basically there's some things that we've been fighting in the system because we believe that the system is biased towards straight couples. There are some insurance health benefits that are not equal with gay couples. People who can benefit, but it benefits people if you're straight, but not necessarily if you're gay. I don't want to get too much into it. It's not a open and shut discrimination issue. It's not an open and shut. It gets very fuzzy. It gets very, very fuzzy based on how you interpret things. So we've been trying to fight that for the last year and a half and have been coming out empty. We've been hitting a lot of dead ends after dead ends. I mean, we've been doing everything from meeting with our government representatives. We've been speaking to the insurance companies itself. Colin has even gotten as far as he's been auditioning. He's sending auditions for Wheel of Fortune and auditions for the $100,000 Pyramid. He even sent an audition to the Ellen DeGeneres show, who actually contacting him back. Like an agent from the Ellen DeGeneres show contacted him, and wanted to know about our story. And he gave her our story, and she was probably just being really nice and said, "Oh, that's really, really cool. That's a really interesting story. We'll get back to you and let you know if anything comes out of it." We haven't heard back from them. I mean, neither of us were really going to hold our breath, but we are doing everything and anything that we can to have kids because we really, 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 really want to be daddies. But right now, there's just running into a lot of issues and a lot of financial issues. So, because of that, recently in our local radio station announced last week that they were holding a contest where a local fertility facility was offering to give a couple up to $25,000 towards a chance for them to start a family. And we're definitely auditioning for it. The hardest part is making the audition video with all the Pokemon tabletop campaign videos that were up. We have to make an audition video that was 1 minute or less. 1 minute to tell our story. I gotta tell you, it's super hard to pack things in 1 minute and have it be genuine, have it be a genuine thing packed in 1 minute and telling your story, but that's what we had to do. So we made a 1 hour video to enter this contest because we're trying so hard to become daddies, and it's just everything just keeps falling apart. No matter what we try, it keeps falling apart. So this is yet another thing that we're going to try. It's going to go to the radio station, and if they select the top 5, and whoever's in the top 5, then the public gets to vote. The public gets to vote on which couple they believe is deserving of having this prize to help them start a family. I'm sorry. I'm so yeah. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. In the meantime, we're still trying other things. We're trying really hard. And there are a lot of couples out there, not just us. There are a lot of couples out there who are desperately trying to become parents and have kids. So I know what that's like. And it's not It's not fun. It's very emotionally draining. It's very emotionally draining. It's when it's a lot of disappointment after disappointment after disappointment. And it might feel like everything that you do is either a waste of time or nothing that you do, nothing is going to come out of it. Um, it's hard. Sorry, I didn't mean to go there, guys. But the question was asked, and um, there's a lot of relevant things going on in our life. Um, I'm grateful that we're in a day and age where we were allowed to get married. Things have been changing for the better. There's still a long ways to go. Um, it took a while. It took a while for us to be able to have the chance to get married. So hopefully it won't take too much longer to find some sort of decent equality, so that we can have the same chance of having kids like any other couple would. So let's move on, shall we? Um, where are we? Thank you for the question, Kunpei. It's a great sentiment. Have you ever watched Roman Atwood vlogs with his Smile More campaign? I think you'd like his values. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check him out. Congratulations on that, Hark. Thank you, Petra. How about Final Fantasy 15? You don't seem to enjoy it. I. It's not my okay. It's not my favorite Final Fantasy. I think the driving around all over the place is really tedious. The open worldness of it is tedious. I really enjoy. I mean, I'm definitely enjoying the main storyline. There's a lot of elements about Final Fantasy 15 that I miss. I miss having a party, a large cast of characters from which you can choose a party. For me, that helps with replayability. Um, I know the reason why they have it just be the same party, like just the same four guys all the time, is meant so that you can get so you can form strong bonds and relationships with them. But I just think BioWare does relationships with characters better, in my opinion. Watching the guys interact is good. There's some good scenes in there, but I just feel like compared to what I'm used to when it comes to character development through friendships and bonding, BioWare blows that out of the park compared to Final Fantasy 15. So by comparison, Final Fantasy 15's character development is shallow to me, with the exception of Prompto. Prompto and Noctis had some really awesome scenes together. Um, and in my opinion, it outshines Gladiolus's and Ignis's scenes together with Noctis. So Prompto actually is the closest to BioWare quality of role-playing character development and character relationship development. So that, so those kind of things. The combat system can be very clunky because if I want to switch into a power, I have to go into the menu screen. So it definitely has its. I do have my issues with Final Fantasy 15, but it hasn't. It hasn't, been so bad that I wanted to quit the game. I want to finish the game. I want to beat the game and see it to its end. But I think that, when I finish the game, it'll be like, I'm glad I played it. I'm glad I got through the story. I don't necessarily need to play it again, which is something that I wouldn't say for like Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy VII. Those games I would definitely play again. Um, I like Maderwellin's playstyle too, but she doesn't show her face, so I don't think you could get an interview with her. Also, you need to play a Phoenix Wright with someone, I think. I've heard really good things of Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright is one of those things I would love to try out. Do you think that that Telltale will do Batman and Game of Thrones? I'm pretty sure they've pretty much set up a Game of Thrones sequel, so I'd be shocked if they didn't do Game of Thrones again. Batman sounded super successful, so I'd be shocked if they didn't do another Batman one. Um, I'm sure they will, but we're still waiting forever on The Wolf Among Us. Yeah, The Wolf Among Us. They set up a sequel for Wolf Among Us. I'd be shocked if they don't do one, but they definitely are taking a while to release that one, aren't they? Um, Is Mass Effect Andromeda living up to your hype? Yes. I love Mass Effect Andromeda. Um, and this is me, again, not reading, not being influenced one way or another with anything that it's being written about on the websites. I haven't read any articles about Mass Effect Andromeda, good or bad. I haven't been reading any of it because I want to assess the game for myself. I want to play through the game for myself. Because I feel like that's how. I mean, I feel like that's more genuine. That's a more genuine experience. I don't want to be influenced by what anybody else thinks because I just want to enjoy the game and see for myself how much I like it. Maybe that's why I ended up, liking Mass Effect 3 just fine, even with the original ending. I didn't feel bothered by the original ending of Mass Effect 3 at all. And maybe part of that is because I wasn't paying attention to anything that the internet was saying. I wasn't letting that influence my opinion of the game. I just blocked that off, just played the game, and decided for myself if I loved it. And I did. I loved Mass Effect 3. And I thought the original ending was fine. And if other people thought they hated it, that's their opinion. They're welcome to hate it. But I loved it. I enjoyed it. And then when they did the DLC, the whatever to change to modify or upgrade the ending, I loved that ending too. I loved it just fine too. So yeah, I know that a lot of people are writing about their critiques for Mass Effect. I'm just still thinking that those of us who play the game and love the game, we're too busy playing the game. I'm too busy playing the game. And if people are playing Mass Effect Andromeda and are hating on the game, sure, they have more time to write about it. They have more time to be vocal about it because they're not playing the game because they don't really enjoy it. So that's why I would take all of those things with a grain of salt. Maybe wait for the people who are enjoying the game to finish and then give their thoughts and reviews over it, and maybe take those opinions in with the bad. The probably the most unavoidable comments I've been hearing from people is the animation. I mean, it's really hard for me to not notice it because it's everywhere. Everyone's talking about the animation. That's the only major thing that I hear. I'm sure there's other complaints if I actually read the articles, which I'm not at the moment. But I'm thinking to myself, is the if the animation is the thing that people are most vocal about, that's pretty darn good. If the biggest complaint across the board universally for most people, so much so that that's the thing that I can't avoid seeing online, if that's the worst thing about the game is the animation, why is that a big deal, really, in the grand scheme of things? Like, why? Like, the reason why, again, why I play BioWare games and I enjoy BioWare games is the character, it's the story, it's the relationship and the bonds that you make with the character. Those are the kind of things that I care about and that I think makes a Mass Effect game or a BioWare game. If any of those core things, were a problem, then yeah, we'd have a serious issue. But the animation, very low on my list, really, of things that determines whether or not I enjoy a game or not. It's super low, like insignificant. I think while playing the game, before I even knew that the animation was anything things were even talked about, I even said in my game, this is during my early access, I even said, wow, I actually like the facial animations. The facial animations actually look pretty good. That's with me not being influenced one way or another by the internet. I actually thought the animations were fine. And if there were hiccups, they weren't bad enough that I noticed it. And even if I did notice it, I don't think it would have really affected the game, like my enjoyment of the game, because that's not what I'm playing the game for. So I don't know. That's just my opinion. People are gonna dislike a game for one reason or another, but I don't know. I care more about the parts of the Mass Effect game that really matter, and I think that the animation bugs doesn't really matter to me. Doesn't matter to me, especially if, yeah. So I don't know. That's not to say that there aren't things about the game that I dislike. While during, I mean, I'm very honest. I try to be very honest and real when I'm doing my Let's Plays. So I have throughout the Let's Play, I will stop and say, this is a part of the game that I don't like. This is the part of the game that's frustrating. This is the worst part of this game so far. This is my least favorite part of this game. I will say that. I'm not blindly fanboying over BioWare, and I feel like they could have done a better job with something. I'll tell them. I'll say it. But the animations, for me, I didn't notice anything enough for me to even think about complaining about it, to even express my despise for it, because it just wasn't a thing for me so far. And I'm about 25 hours into the game, maybe 30, maybe 30. Sorry about that, but Mass Effect Andromeda obviously is a very big thing for me at the moment, gaming wise. Um, Such a brutal time. Yeah, it's only 1 minute. It is a very brutal time. Thank you, Petra. I hope I understand that. I appreciate it, Can't Pay to Kiss. Thank you, I Fall Into Fantasy. I think I saw them fake votes. I'll be sure to vote when it comes to that. If I can, could a Canadian vote for that? I'm pretty sure. I think anyone can vote. I think what I'll do is if we're chosen, if we are chosen, I'll let you know. I'll post something on my YouTube channel. I doubt that there's anything that says I can't do that. I think you're allowed to tell however many people you want. If we get chosen in the top five, I mean, cross your fingers. I don't know how many people are submitting. I don't know how good everybody else's auditions are. But if we make it in the top five, I'll probably post something. It'll be it'll be at the end of the month. Voting, the deadline for submitting our audition is next week, and then the voting starts, I think, at the end of April. So I guess I'll make a posting to say, hey, this is what we're trying to do. If you guys want to support us into trying to become daddies, you can take a few minutes to vote for us. If you want to tell other friends that you think would be interested in supporting us too, you can spread the word. We're gonna do everything that we can to start a family. We're gonna try really hard. Thank you, Clementine. You'll hang in there. You'll make a great family home. It's just a matter of time. Which is your favorite Final Fantasy? Final Fantasy VI is my favorite one, actually. I know that it's a Super Nintendo game, but in my opinion, that had the best story. It had the best cast of characters. It had the best developed characters, in my opinion, and that's saying something considering how that had the largest PC class of any Final Fantasy by far. 14 characters. And pretty much all 14 of those PC characters were very well, fully developed. Virtually every single one. Which is amazing. Like, there are RPGs out there who have like a quarter of that and don't develop their characters nearly as well as Final Fantasy VI did. Story's amazing, the music's amazing, the villain is amazing. It's just everything about that game was a masterpiece. Final Fantasy VI is definitely my number one. Second favorite one is probably 7. I want to say 7. And then the next one after that is 10. It fluctuates between 7 and 10 as my second and third favorites. Vetra's Love, Vetra's Life. Vetra's name sounds so close to mine. So how many times while hearing it while Jonas is playing the game and like, wait, what? Trying to romance someone else for my next playthrough, but I ended up romancing her again. Will you live stream Guardians of the Galaxy on Twitch? Yes. Yes. Is Mass Effect Andromeda Romance is Mass Effect Andromeda's romance really catching you? Yes. I'm very happy so far. I'm very happy with the romance that I am trying to pursue in this game. I haven't seen much of it yet. It's very early, but I'm really enjoying it a lot. I haven't seen anybody else's romance, so I can't really say anything about that and about anyone else's, but so far I am loving the things I'm discovering with the person that I'm pursuing. is all I'm gonna say. I'm too busy playing Mass Effect Andromeda to do much else other than work out, and sleep. Yeah, and watch you stream because, of course. Oh, Mikey, you're so sweet. I haven't seen too much though. It was pretty funny when Kathleen was played, and the Asari doctor's posture was a bit odd because she talked to her in the middle of her pose changing or something. It looked so awkward. Did Kathleenums? Did she start posting? Wait, did she start posting her Andromeda videos? I didn't see it. I have to go get her channel. I saw that David started posting, so I was excited to watch David, but I didn't see Kathleenums. Something must be wrong if maybe her videos aren't showing up in my feed. Okay, if she's been posting videos, I need to get on that now. Hashtag Papa Hark for President 2020. Oh no, please no. No. I don't want to I do not want to inherit and clean up whatever needs to be cleaned up in 2020. No. Do not want to clean any of that up. Do not want. Leave that to somebody else. No. Never got to play 6. I'm torn between Final Fantasy VIII and Final Fantasy Tactics. I'd vote for that ticket, but who would be his vice president? Colin. What do you think of Jal? I haven't had much time with Jal yet. I like him so far. I think that he is extremely trusting of Ryder very quickly. He becomes really super cool. He went from not trusting Ryder at all to being his BFF in no time, which was kind of odd, very weird for me. That development just wasn't quite there in my opinion. But as a character, Jal is really interesting. As a race, Jal's race is really interesting. But I don't know enough about him yet. I still haven't interacted with him enough. But yeah, she was live streaming them. Oh, live streaming. Well, hopefully she posted soon. I'm sure I'll get your reply to Ryan. Okay. So, is there anything else? Is there anything else that anyone has to ask before I have to go? That would be really cool if you have anything last minute. I checked your email already, by the way, Mikey, and I sent you a reply. Unless there was something else that you sent me. I saw it and I sent you a response. Oh, by the way, I know, but it will be funny to see how he reacts in real time. Oh, I already watched it. I watched it during the break. It was super cute, unless you sent me something else. It was really super cute. If it was supposed to be funny, I'm sorry, Mikey, it was supposed to be funny. I guess I missed the joke. I just thought it was a cute video. I'm sure you'll get a chance to reply. Well, I mean, the streams are posted on YouTube, at least a couple parts, but yeah, it takes some time to process long stream videos. All right, well, I'll have to check her out then. I like listening to David and Kathleenums in the car when I'm driving to work. They're my go-to, audiobooks. You know what I mean by that. When is session 23A going up? Session 23A is going up this week, Mecha. This coming week, it will be up. Anything else? Going once, going twice? Okay. Well, guys, thank you again. My deepest apologies for all of the craziness that happened earlier today with, my save files. I'm hoping I'll get it fixed before the end of before episode 4. I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you humoring me and trying to help me with that. I know it was really frustrating for a lot of you. Trust me, it was probably way more frustrating for me because I'm the one who's, trying to get this thing up so I can entertain you all and not just have you sitting here watching me fumble around, trying to figure out how to fix things. So thank you to Asilla, Malik, Nameless Red Wolf, Petra, Amber All 25, ChatDB, Clementine, I Fall Into Fantasy, Conpeto Kiss, Mecha, Naklanat, Noragami, Shirley, Mikey, and this Kiwi Bird. I didn't get a chance to say hi to you, this Kiwi Bird. Hi, Kiwi Bird, and bye, Kiwi Bird. Thank you for being here at the very end. I really appreciate it. And, excuse me, jeez. I will talk to you guys later. So, until next time, love yourselves and love each other.